The cars are fresh off the boat as the NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series has headed to Japan. We are here at Twin Ring Motegi for the STP 400. My name is Colin Denton. I will be on the call today for RVN. If we take a look at our current standings, Paul Brenner pulling away from John Green, who's still looking for a win. Barry Goldberg and Stephen Willey each have a win, holding the third and fourth positions, as Rampage has a small gap over Andrew Rich. If we take a look at the starting grid today, on the pole is the number 67 Aflac Ford of Eric Van Arsdale, the newest addition to the Wendy's Unlimited in February. On the outside pole is Dejan Weeks in the number 21 Jordan Ford. In the second row, Alexander Miller and Gabriel Wanderley. In the third row, Harry Saura and Zach Campbell. In the fourth row, Grayson Acevedo and Paul Brenner. In the fifth row, Colin Lindsay and NASCAR Fan 19. In the sixth row, James McDaniel and NASCAR Man number 1. In the seventh row, Johnny Gardner and Marty Johnson. In the eighth row, John Green and Tyrone Kingston. In the ninth row, William Brock and Tyler Markell. And in the 10th row, Nick Smith and Andrew Golden. We'll let the rest of the field flash by on the bottom of the screen. Eric Van Arsdale and Dejan Weeks sharing the front row. If you'll remember the last time these two shared the front of the field, that would happen 2 weeks ago at Brooklands. You'll remember that Eric Van Arsdale ended up flipping against the wall because Dejan Weeks made a gutsy move to pit lane. We'll see if that carries out in today's race. Probably did not see much of each other at Bull Run last week. But this week, we're going racing internationally. The green flag is out here in Japan. Already Miller pushing Van Arsdale up and around. And Miller's already making a move to the inside. Miller really wanted to get out front there. Van Arsdale cup up. We got trouble in the back. T-Love 48 man is spinning around. NASCAR Fan 1418 saw him swerve to the inside. Lucky not to make contact with the inside wall. Come to the caution flag. Miller leads the first lap, making that big move off of Van Arsdale. But T-Love 48 man makes the spin on the first lap. That's going to bring out our first caution of the day. He's got some left side damage. Possibly made contact with other cars as he spun in the middle of a small cell of cars. You can see Van Arsdale is going to line up third in that pack. We take a look at the replay. You can see T-Love 48 man. He's on the outside. They're looking 3 wide. He's near the back of the pack. Carson Scott's on his quarter panel, and it looks like they just got a little too close for comfort. NASCAR Fan 1418 actually made some contact with the outside wall and then swerved toward the inside. He was lucky not to get any more damage than he did. Dan Bandon was near that accident. I think he might have checked up just enough to avoid it. If we take a look from his viewpoint, you can see right there's Carson Scott. You see Harrison Butt might have come off the corner, not expecting those two to be touching. T-Love 48 man gets the worst of it, and Dan Bandon manages to check up just enough. We're going to head to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
That's nice. Hello there.
Welcome back to NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series racing action here at Twin Ring Motegi. It is time to give away the Hardee's Hot Seat winner once again. It is going to John Green, who in fact won this last weekend at Bull Run. He put up an 18th place finish there, but over the last 4 races, he's still put up the most points So he's once again on the hot seat. We'll see how he performs today. You can see him running just around the 10th place range. So he's putting up a pretty solid run at the moment. We'll see if he can keep that up, if he can get himself into the top 10. And that would fare well for his second place standing at the moment. Alexander Miller made the move around Van Arsdale at the first lap. And as the green flag flies, we'll restart at lap number 6. You can see that the cars are getting side by side already. Intense battling going on right there around the 10th place mark. You can see John Green's trying to make a move past Zach Campbell. The inside's running just a bit more smoothly, and we've got a car on the wall. Andrew Rich. He's running 6th place in the points right now. A couple more cars were involved in that. I believe Noah Cars and Pat Hayes. You can see they're trailing behind in the pack. They've fallen behind NASCAR Fan 1418, who was involved in the first accident. And the caution flag flies once again. Miller still holds the lead, and with a couple laps under our belts, we might see some pit stops this time around. No one pitted on the first cycle. You can see those back 3 cars trying to get into position. Looks like Andrew Rich might be the one that has the most damage out of these 3 who were apparently involved in the accident. You can see Rich's tire was kind of hanging out right there. Some major quarter panel damage. A lot of rear end damage as well. Looks like the entire field is coming down for pit stops this time. We take a look at Alexander Miller, John Green, who's running 2nd place in the points, Paul Brenner, who leads the points. See what they do on this cycle of pit stops while they're running on their caution. Mainly want to look at where these guys are on tire strategy. Looks like John Green's taking 2 tires, Alexander Miller taking the same. Looks like a bunch of the field opting for 2 tires early in the race. Fill up the tank while they can. Meanwhile, R3 involved in the crash are taking their time. See, they're all jacked up on their right side. Let's take a look at what happened right here. It looks like Pat Hayes was drafting off of Noah Cars and going into turn number 3. Just had too much push on him. Led him up into Andrew Rich. And Andrew got the worst of it. Another angle from up top. Rich was just running the outside line, not expecting Noah to be turned into him, and then he takes the blunt hit to the outside wall. You can see the damage that he sustained from that. On board of Rampage, he was in front of the last accident. This time, he's behind it, but makes a good move to the inside to avoid it. As they come off of turn number 4, Alexander Miller leading the field as he did off of pit road. We go restarting on lap number 11. 2 cautions already under the belt. The green flag flies and Miller takes off. Huge gap over Saura to start off this restart. Nick Smith trying to draft off the cars in front of him as you take a look at where our current winners run. Got a total of 9 of them. Dejon Weeks, Paul Brenner putting up the best performances so far. Marty Johnson in 13th. Smith running in 16th. You can see Johnson's actually in front of Smith right here. He's starting to fade a little bit as cars are taking the inside line, which is really the line that these guys need to be in position for, because that is where the passing is happening. As you can see, Lindsay would really benefit from getting down there. He's getting shuffled back quickly. Now Golden is underneath him. Dale Jr. Dude 88's underneath him now. Real Tight Racing is actually getting a bump from behind from William Brock. The cars are really antsy to get up front. Meanwhile, further back, some of our damaged cars are kind of trailing behind, still trying to stay on the pace. Noah Cars is trying to make some moves further up the field, but for the most part, those cars are staying back there. Let's take a look at our current Bubble Watch drivers. John Green, currently running the 8th position, 2nd place in points. Running a good position to maintain his place, but of course he's still got a little bit of ground to make up if he wants to catch Brenner points-wise, because he is still running in front of him. We've got the number 1 car of Rampage, 5th in points, only 5 points back from John Green at the moment, but 30th place is not going to give a big cut into that. Andrew Rich, he, of course, wrecked in that last caution we had. 37th place, 6th place in the points, 55 points back. He's got a little bit of a gap between Rampage and him. John Arndt, not sure why he just came down pit road. He's now a lap down as the leaders go by. We saw him come down pit road, and we actually believe he took 2 left side tires, which of course a lot of the field took right sides only. So I'm not sure what was the cause for that. We'll move on with our bubble watch and we'll look into that. 14th place for Tyler Markell, who's currently running the 8th place in points, 62 points back. He might make a cut on Andrew Rich based on where he's running right now. Grayson Acevedo, 2nd place at the moment. Of course, it looks like Brenner's going underneath him. NASCAR Fan 19's already passed him, and now Wanderley wants a piece of that as well. 9th place in the points, 72 points back. Alexander Miller is he's running in front of Johnny Gardner, who's being listed as the leader. We did not notice that on the leaderboard. He's running in the 40th position. Harry Saura would therefore be running in the 41st position. We need to take a look back on this. I didn't recall seeing Miller making a pit stop, nor Saura. We don't see any passing happening. Now, Miller did beat the pace car to the line, but of course, I don't believe that's a cause for a penalty when the green flag has waved. Saura hadn't passed the pace car. You can see this is the lap after that green flag, and the 3 leaders, Van Arsdale is in that pack as well. He comes down with them. I put Acevedo up to the lead. And these 3 leaders, they come down the pit lane and they come into their stalls and they all look like they take left side tires. Actually, Van Arsdale, he only did a gas and go. The other 2, they did take left side tires, so Van Arsdale's in front of them. And they're both heading up the pack. But Johnny Gardner is the actual leader out of this lineup of cars. A very odd incident off of this restart. But Johnny Gardner is now your leader in this race, as the 2 people that had been running very far up for those first 2 restarts are now in danger of going a lap down. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Practice went okay, but if he keeps pushing like that, what are you going to do? Here we go. Can you feel it?
Can I get your autograph?
Yeah, sure.
I can't wait to show my grandson.
Welcome back to Twin Ring Motegi for more NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series action. And as you can see, Johnny Gardner, he's making a cut down low, and so is Gabriel Wanderley. It's green flag pit stop time. NASCAR Fan 19 did not pit right there. He assumes the lead. Paul Brenner behind him. Looked like a very limited group choosing to come in at this point. Gardner is going to go for some tires, fill up the tank. Looking like it's going to be a 4-tire stop at this point. Wanderley and Campbell, they're both in. 4 tires for both of them. McDaniel's in the back. You can see Gardner pulls off. Wanderley just behind him. And here comes a majority of the field right here. Dale Jr. Dude 88 is your new leader. There is Nick Smith, last week's winner of the race at Bull Run. You can see Stephen Willie and Reese Butcher, both previous winners. There's John Green, second place in the standings, looking to make gains on the field. He goes for 4 tires. There goes Nick Smith right by him. Quick 4-tire change for him. Marty Johnson's there. He pulls away. And here comes more of the field. Look at that. Tyrone Kingston actually has some hood damage. And I don't recall where that occurred. We'll take a look at where that came from. But you can see that here's another limited group of cars coming down. Andrew Rich, he pulls off. Possibly some more damage repairs there. Emmett Juck comes off. Dale Jr. Dude 88 held the lead for that lap, but will that hold up? Probably not. It might have gone to that group of Alexander Miller and Harry Saura. They might have gone back into the lead because they haven't had to make a pit stop yet. However, they are probably in position to make one very soon. So you recall that they were coming down early the lap after the restart. We don't know if that was a penalty or not, but they took left side tires and they pulled away. Here's where Kingston got that damage. It actually happened pulling off a pit road on the last caution. Runs right into the back of Dale Jr. Dude 88. And we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Every night when I fall asleep, I dream of flying. I dream of riding a rocket. I dream of being an athlete.
I dream of being a king.
Of being dangerous. Mysterious.
I dream of being fearless.
I dream of being bad. Really bad. I dream of being a knight in shining armor. I dream of defying gravity. Being brave. Being famous. A good guy. A hero. I dream of being a tough guy. I dream of mayhem, chaos, lights, thunder, danger. I dream of kicking butt. Kicking butt. Kicking butt and taking names. I dream of being a 10. I dream of donuts.
That's my dream.
That's my dream. That's my dream. Mine too. I dream of being a race car driver.
Johnny Gardner has the lead over the field here at Twin Ring Motegi. You can see Rampage is pulling to the inside of him, but that is to get a lap back, actually. As some of these guys are going a lap down, now Rampage is back on the lead lap. Markel and Rich are both in that danger zone, and they would like to get their laps back. NASCAR Fan 19 is the second place car, and he is just behind those two. Emmett Juckham 4th place run for him. You can see Harry Saora. He is also looking to get back into this thing. He's looking to get a lap back. They both he and Miller had to make a pit stop eventually, and they are now running a lap down. John Green, he is looking to advance his position. You can see he's running a bit back in the field, but he is still maintaining a decent position. He's running in the mid-teens. Cars are running pretty strung out, single file. Not a lot of passing being made at this point. We see a lot more of that happening on these restarts. T-Love 48 man, he was involved in that first accident. Of course, he is still trying to make his way up the field. Fell back a little bit because of the damage that he sustained from the accident, but he is still maintaining his spot. On board Carson Scott as the cars go around this wide oval. You can see he's still trying to chase down some cars and trying to make up some spots. Josh Harris makes a move on K-Dude 124. That's a spot for position. Johnson, he makes a move as well. And now K-Dude 124 is trapped on the outside lane. Might have a little redemption right there now, as McDaniel pulls behind him. We're going to take one more commercial break, and we will be right back for the final 10 laps of this race.
Way for Cyberdale. It is knock knock out of my way. Rabid pack of pit bulls doing the jackhammer waltz. NASCAR 2000 EA Sports. It's in the game.
We are back for the conclusion of the STP 400 here at Twin Ring Motegi. Johnny Gardner still maintains the lead as NASCAR Fan 19, riding the bumper and still looking to grab his first win of the season, as Gardner is as well. Barry Goldberg, one of our previous winners, he's taking some tires and getting some fuel. It looks like the green flag pit cycle is underway. He elects 2 tires only, which might be a smart call this late in the race, but we'll see. And Johnny Gardner relinquishes the lead. NASCAR Fan 19 pulls away, and he will take another lead lap right there. Juckum follows him. Wanderley ducks to the pits. So there's your top 3 right there, taking their pit stops. On lap number 43, everyone after this point should be fine on fuel. Gardner pulls away. Wanderley taking 2 tires right here, and he's off. Here comes more of the field. NASCAR Fan 19's in. Rampage, 5th place in the standings. He is in. He is going to take some right side tires and some fuel. He's looking to stay on the lead lap. NASCAR Fan 19 pulls in. He has been up front a good portion of the day, stuck behind Johnny Gardner and mostly running the 2nd position, but he is still looking to grab his first win. He pulls away after a 2-tire stop. So we see part of the field starting to come around. He really wants, NASCAR Fan 19 really needs to beat Johnny Gardner. But here comes Gardner coming off of turn number 2. Can he pull into position? Can he block Gardner? And Gardner, he makes a good cut into turn number 3. He gets the inside of NASCAR Fan 19 and gets the position back. Jochum relinquished the lead, gives it up to Josh Harris. Harris is still going to need to make a pit stop. Oh, we got trouble. Big contact. Dan Bandon and Dejon Weeks. Heavy contact for those two. And those cars are destroyed. And this was not a good time for an accident to occur. Here comes the automobiles of Johnny Gardner and NASCAR Fan 19. Harry Sauer, he's actually put himself into contention right there. Let's take a look at what just happened right there. McDaniel comes down, and it looks like Dejon Weeks tried to avoid it. He might have already taken his service, but he turned up too much into Dan Bandon, who was trying to run the lane. I'm not sure what happened to Bandon, because he looked like he turned into the wall. He might have lost his steering there. Another look, you can see McDaniel. He has to brake a little bit, and Weeks tried to cut up to not lose speed, but Bandon was right there. And then Bandon makes a killer blow into the inside retaining wall. So we'll watch from his view. There's the brake, and then Dejon just comes up a little too much, and bam. Both Weeks and Bandon already have a win this season, but for Bandon, he's a little bit further back in the points and he needs to stay in the top 35. Another thing to note here, Josh Harris, he looked like he was trying to come to pit road, but he just completely missed. And obviously, he was running the top spot. He had elected to not pit till then. And now the situation is he crossed the finish line as the caution was taken. And now he's actually trapped a bunch of cars behind the pace car. So the leader is Johnny Gardner. Harry Sauer and NASCAR Fan 19 fill in second and third spots. And they're all, I believe, back to back to each other. You can see right there in the middle, about 10 cars back is where they sit. But you can see all these guys up right in front of them. Well, they're trapped behind the pace car, and they can only battle for position amongst themselves. They can't battle for positions where the back of the field is right now. So that put them in a very peculiar position because Josh Harris had missed pit lane. I would have believed that anyone else that hadn't pitted up to that point had made it on the pit road, but Harris somehow missed it. And we have a one-lap shootout when we go green. It's one lap to go between all of these cars to see who will duke it out and get the win. You got to realize that Gardner, Sauer, NASCAR Fan 19, even Miller. Sauer and Miller have come back from their early struggles, and now they're running the top 4 with the green flag out. Can one of them win it? Gardner trying to fend off these cars behind him. He's cutting to the outside, which might be a mistake. He's trying to cut to the outside of Rampage. But Gardner should know that the inside is the better line, and Sauer is taking advantage of it. Final lap, final turn. Sauer cuts to the inside. Gardner gets cut off by Flash. Several cars coming to pit road, and Sauer takes the win at Twin Ring Motegi on the final lap, and we have a crash in the back of the field. What a finish to this race. Harry Sauer, who came from all the way from 41st position, has taken the victory after struggling with some weird occurrences early on in the race. possibly a penalty, but could have been some pit strategy right there. We take a look. This is what actually happened in that last accident coming off of turn number 4. Some cars were heading the pit road, and I'm not sure what was going on. I don't know if some more cars got penalized and they were trying to avoid being black flagged for not serving those penalties, but they come down and it looks like they clogged up. And this is actually, so those were cars that were in front of the field between Gardner and the pace car. And Campbell ran straight into the barrier at the end of pit road. And more cars scraped the wall. So a very odd occurrence to end off this race. But we take a look at the final results. Here is our Johnny Gardner NASCAR Fan 19 in the top 3. Gabriel Wanderley puts together a 4th place finishes, takes himself out of the bottom spot in the standings. Cars like Noah Cars and Carson Scott, who had actually wrecked, finished with top 20 performances. Miller, who was in 4th place on that last restart, he actually finished 19th. Marty Johnson put a 40th place finish on the board. He actually might have stalled out on pit road before reaching the finish line. So that leaves Paul Brenner, Stephen Willie, and Barry Goldberg atop the leaderboard. Rampage is now the front bubble spot driver, as John Green didn't finish on the lead lap and ends up now in 6th place. And there is a large conglomerate of cars that have won a race, but they are very close to that edge line at 35th position. So they are in very much danger of losing their chase eligibility. Well, that is going to do it for us here in Japan at Twin Ring Motegi. Congratulations to Harry Saura, who has put together his first victory of the season. Thank you all for tuning in to RVN. My name is Colin Denton. I will see you all next week for more racing action in the NASCAR Wendy's Cup Series.